Well, thank you for being here. This is Mr. Kathreiner.
Mr. Luperel.
And Mr. Reed.
And on behalf of Ms. Bagley, we'd like to share with you the 2016 mock election results, which we based off of the Electoral College system used right here in the United States. So just to explain this, how the Electoral College works. Each state is given a set of number of electors determined by the number of its U.S. congressmen. The number of representatives in each state correlates with the state population.
Yep, and so in Missouri, we have 8 members in the House of Representatives and 2 members in the U.S. Senate. And so if you add them together, we get 10, so Missouri has 10 electors. But other states have many more, like California has 55, and Idaho has something like 4.
So as you can see, if you look at the map of the United States, the more populated states obviously have more electors. And if you look at the northern part of the United States, South Dakota, North Dakota, very small populated, 3 electors for these states.
So each advisement served as a state in our mock election. Since each advisement is roughly the same size, each was allotted 20 electoral votes, except for 2. These 2 were allotted 19 because they had a slightly smaller population. So the total electors added up to 538, just like in the US.
So save for just a few districts in the United States, the electoral system works on a winner-take-all basis. For instance, if someone, I guess if there's a majority of people in Missouri that vote for either Hillary or Trump, all electoral votes, or all 10, will go towards that particular candidate. So the same principle was applied to each advisement. The candidate with the most votes receives all 20 electoral points.
So the first candidate to reach 270 electoral votes wins the election, and 270 is just the simple majority, which means that that's one more than
260.
half. Yeah.
So after all the numbers were tallied from last week's mock election, here are the results broken down by advisements.
Drum roll. So in Mr. Luperel's class, most people voted for Trump, so Trump gets all 19 electoral votes.
In my advisement, Mr. Reed's, the majority of the votes were given to Trump, so he received all 20 of our electoral votes. Springer had a majority for Clinton, so all 20 to Clinton. Steinhardt's advisement, the majority also voted for Clinton, so all 20 once again. Pellizzero, 20 for Trump. Mullen, 20 for Trump.
Coons, 20 for Trump. King, all of her electors went to Clinton, and Jones went for Trump.
And Gilligan also, most of them voted for Trump, so all 20 electors go to Trump. Mr. Smith, Senor Smith, most people voted for Trump, so there you go.
Miss Elking went for Trump, but Mrs. Forbes' advisement went for Clinton, so all 20 of hers go to Clinton.
Gallo's advisement, 20 for Trump. Sister Dooling's, 20 for Trump. And Bagley's advisement was an exact tie, so no majority, no electoral votes in this case.
In my advisement, most people voted for Trump, so 19 of those electors go to Trump.
So why was it 19 for yours?
To make it an even 538, we had to deduct one vote from my class and Mr. Luperel's class to make it 538. Ms. Hannick's, Coach Hannick's class, we have 20 electoral votes go to Trump.
Greer, 20 more for Trump. Kane, 20 for Clinton.
Verkowski, again, there was a tie in his advisement, so no electoral votes were awarded.
And Harkey, 20. Our last set of advisements, Herbst. Third time, there was no majority, so no electoral votes. Hilmes, 20 for Trump. Leonard, 20 for Trump.
Woodward, we had 20 go to Trump, and Ms. Cochran's class, we had 20 go to Trump. So if it isn't obvious by now, the winner of this mock election was, and keep in mind, 270 were needed to win, and it's clearly an overwhelming majority of electoral votes went to Trump. But the question is, how many did Clinton earn? If you add those up, she has 100 electoral votes. No electoral votes were awarded to either Jill Stein or Gary Johnson, and that is typically the case with third-party candidates. So if we can take this and compare this electoral college system with the popular vote, and we have here a total of 95 students voted for Trump.
And 36 for Clinton.
So if you do your math, you can figure out the total number of students that voted, okay, adding in both Gary Johnson and Jill Stein. You can see while they received popular votes, they did not receive electoral votes because they did not earn a majority in a single advisement.
So to compare that, adding up the total number of students who actually voted, it was roughly 37% of the population. And if we compare that, that seems like a small number, and it is, but if you compare that to general election years versus non-general election years, in 2008, the year that Barack Obama was running for his first term, drew 60% of the eligible voters, which is a pretty big number.
In comparison to 2002, where we had, say, elections for some representatives and senators, but there was not an election for a president, you see a smaller percentage of the eligible voters turning out to cast their ballot.
And that is it. Thank you for your time.